Uh, Good. So, hope you guys are having a wonderful start to your year. Halfway through the week, not really much has changed. Covered the New Year's as yesterday. Yeah, not really much happening there, anyways. So, game devs are still probably on break. We probably aren't going to see anything really kind of new or interesting until next week. Kind of just because of the way holidays work. CES is coming up next week, which is something I am excited for. We're already getting leaks from details. Like, I wasn't really excited for Christmas, not really excited for New Year's. I am excited for CES this year. AMD is going to be putting on quite a show, from what I understand. Not necessarily like, singing, dancing, fireworks, whatever, but their new Navi's coming out. Their new Zen 2 is coming out, which is their new processor, which may very well just shit on Intel. I'm not mincing words with this one, guys. I'm not being over exaggerating about this, but it may very well just take a giant deuce on Intel. Because in order for Intel to actually get higher core count processors, they've had to really dial up their TDP or their thermal, basically how much power the processor is using, and they have kind of been lacking. Even their newer processors, they consume a lot of energy, which is used to be what AMD was doing, and people gave AMD a bunch of shit for it. Now it's flopped. Now it's changed. Oh, the tables have turned. Is WCCF Tech. Leak yesterday. Where'd it go? Oh. Read about it today. Where'd it go? 2060 launching at $350. In NVIDIA. What did NVIDIA do? What were they doing this year? Yeah, you mean 2018's blah. 2019? Why are you vomiting on it's like 2 days in. Why are you already vomiting on it? Good old Coke Zero. Oh boy. Where'd you go? I read you earlier this morning. There it is. So, I don't want to watch your video. I want the article. Do they just not have the article? Where'd it go? Yeah. Without the video. Wow, is that so difficult? Is that so difficult? I don't think so. What? Oh, okay. Yeah, why not? Why not indeed? So AMD there's a Russian website that is already listing pre-orders for the Ryzen 2s. And the thing about the Ryzen 2s, we read about a leak about the Ryzen 2s, or not Ryzen 2s, Zen 2. Ryzen 2000 was Zen Plus, which isn't really Zen 2. Zen 2 is like, they just like revamped the architecture, for Zen. And apparently single-threaded performance is going to be better per core, per megahertz than Intel. It uses less power. There's more cores. It's literally everything better than Intel. There's nothing. Like, Intel is just struggling to hang on to the single-threaded performance, and that's only in some games. And now, like, my next rig might even just be Zen 2. Like, I already use Zen the original Ryzen in my streaming PC, which works fucking amazing for multi-threaded workloads. Just sitting there watching 16 threads ping around, Pretty good stuff. That's pretty good stuff. But the next gen for Ryzen will be 8, 12, and 16 cores. And I think there's going to be a 6 core. So on the lowest end, you're going to get like 4 or 6 cores. And then like introductory level, like $100 is going to be like 8 cores. And then 12 at like $250. And then like 16 is going to be like $300, $400 processors. Like that's absolutely insane. That's fucking insane as shit. And considering each thread and each core is going to have better performance than an Intel core, and there's more of them, and they use less power, and they also clock just as high, there's just nothing not to like about it. At least from the pre-release specs that we're seeing about it, where they're going with it. Who knows? 16. That's cores and not threads, by the way, because AMD still uses their own version of hyper-threading. I forgot what it's called. But it does the same thing. Basically, they double the amount of threads they have, so you're going to have 16 cores and 32 threads. That's a lot of, like, Intel wasn't really prepared for this. Like, AMD just ramped the fuck up out of their processors. They're going fucking ham on their processors now. I got this weird echo in my head right now when I'm talking. I'm not sure what this is caused by. I think my ears are congested. I hate when that happens because my voice is kind of deep and rumbly, and then it just makes my. But anyways, new processors coming out this year. We'll see next week. Basically everything's launching next week. This is like CES is like what tells you basically what's going to happen this year. Even if the products don't launch within the month, they'll launch probably sometime this year. So CES next week is when everyone introduces and talks about all their hardware that they're going to do this year, where things are going to go basically for the next year, even sometimes further than the next couple years, depending on if they're talking about long term. Usually like with CPUs, when they talk about architecture and basically next gen CPUs, that stuff takes a while, and same with GPUs, it takes a while for them to make it, so it takes a long time to plan that shit out. So we'll have to see where things go. Coming soon. Threads, 24 threads, 24 threads. 16 threads would be 8 cores. These are just the Ryzen 5, the Ryzen 7, and the Ryzen 9. Apparently, because they're kind of trying to match strides with Intel as far as naming goes. The Ryzen 9, the Ryzen 9 will be like a 3900. Will be equivalent or not equivalent. It'll be comparable price-wise to Intel's i9, which their new high-end. It's not really new. It's basically they rebranded their i7 to i9 because they increased their cores on it and they want people to notice that. AMD's just been doing that, and it will be possibly pretty fucking insane. Even 12 cores is pretty. That's actually worth me upgrading. Like we're talking like 8 cores. 8 cores is like because I already have 6 cores, you know. 10 cores would be like okay, and 12 cores is like okay, because basically that's doubling the amount of cores I have, which generally, depending on how well multi-threaded the application is, will double my performance, CPU performance, which is fucking insane. And it's of course your GPU, or it's not just about what your game's using, how many cores your game's using. It's about your OS using stuff in the background. If you stream, that uses GPU. There's all sorts of other things that are happening in the background besides just a game. Game will use up a lot of your CPU cycles, but everything else happens on your other cores, or where your game isn't using cycles, basically. But anyways, it'll be interesting to see what happens here, guys. Especially interesting to see benchmarks. Aren't going to happen in CES. I'll probably be a couple months after that, depending on where they launch, when they launch. Cores, 32 threads, 4.7 gigahertz turbo. That's not overclocked. That right there is turbo frequency. 125 watts. Yikes. Pretty insane considering it's doubling the amount of cores and using less power, because if you have 8 cores, or if you have 6 cores, I have 6 cores, and I think mine's like an 80 watt processor, and this is 16 cores, and it's 125 watts, so that'd be about, what, 43 watts? Those COD are, oh yeah? Yeah, if you think COD 4 is what's using the majority of the energy in my house, no. Oh. Close the stream to save energy. I'm gonna go green, guys. I'm just not gonna stream. Yep. Anyways, I don't really care. The only time The only time TDP and specifically power efficiency matters is in mobile applications, in laptops, like laptops, phones, anything mobile, tablets, stuff like that. For a computer that's plugged into the wall, not really matter. This does not matter that much. Yeah, if the Ryzen, I think I will be plopping down on a Ryzen 9 whenever this comes out. Depending on the benchmarks, I probably will. I'm not going to impulse buy this because sometimes weird things, quirky things happen with Ryzen's high core count chips, like with Threadripper, for instance. So I'm going to wait and see what exactly is going on with that first before I plop down some money on it. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to be buying a Ryzen 9. That's probably a $400 processor right there. I'm guessing 400 early pricing for is like $400-$500, which is a lot. I think the 10-core Intel processors are like $1,000. I don't know what the fuck Intel's doing. I really don't. I think AMD completely caught Intel off guard with Ryzen, even though Ryzen came out like 2 years ago. It takes a long time to readjust where you're going with things, and Intel was completely unprepared for it, so they're kind of hobbling together chips, like the 10-core Intel chips, to make things work the i9. Which is why I wasn't interested in buying a 10-core chip for $1,000, because it fucking wasn't worth it. But now, if we're getting a more solidified solution from AMD at 16 cores, 32 threads, that is insane. Especially depending on the single-threaded performance, what generally matters in video games. However, as I've talked about before, Call of Duty uses all of your cores, just 100%, so... there's a couple games that are out right now that'll just suck all the performance out of you. Battlefield did that too. A lot of different games. But anyways, cool stuff waiting for this to come out, guys. We're going to cover the Reddits this morning. Besides this, not a really whole lot coming out. As I mentioned, everyone is on hiatus right now. They're sipping their tea. They're fat from their eggnog. They're, eating their leftovers out of their fridge right now. So video game development is kind of, Fortnite came out with their packages. What do they call them? Mini updates or something? Because basically their dev team is off for next week. I'm guessing they're still off until next week. Because that's a good break, is a 2-week break for your crew, especially when they do good. So I'd imagine they're off for 2 weeks. This is still New Year's / Christmas. So if they went off break here, and then they're on break until next month. Good stuff. Congratulations, Fortnite. Good job, Donald. Good job, Donald. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where this goes, guys, next week. CES is next week. Starts on the 11th. 11th next week. Yes, which is where everything gets announced. Yes, dates 2009. 8th to the 11th. This is all the big announcements are going to be in here. Hardware next week. Stuff, guys. Alright, let's take a look at the Fortnites, the Reddits. And I guess tonight we'll play both. I don't know, I didn't really enjoy playing HOTS yesterday, but HOTS, as I mentioned before, is a dead game, so I really enjoy playing it, but for streaming at least, it's a dead game. I don't see that going anywhere for my channel. These items are cosmetic and grant no competitive advantage.
What's Buddy gotta do?
Lightning strikes, guys. Scrapple, Rocket Ride, Storm. What? Yeah. Lightning strikes again, guys. Oh. Led through many seasons untouched by the outer worlds, standing strong for our RV park. Actually, yes. Yes, it pretty much hasn't changed. Weird. Up next, that's just going to get obliterated. This is where you need Kevin just to walk over there and just, like, flatten everything. On my luck for 365 days. Let's see. Another lightning strike.
What's Spotty got to do to get a drink of soda pop around here?
Shadow's on. Weird. Oh. I thought we were going to see aim assist in action. Guess not. I've never been more upset. Okay, let's take a look at the Fortnite Reddits, guys. Or not the Fortnite, Overwatch Reddits. I've talked to this before, I'm pretty sure. Back even when I played. Back when I played, there is an aim... There's an auto sleep with Ana for people that are ulting. I'm pretty sure that exists. There's no way. There's fucking no way that Ana is keeping track of this Genji. Oh, maybe it was meant for the Reinhardt. Maybe he dashed into the Reinhardt sleep. Look at that. Yeah, you could have, because the hitbox on the sleep dart is actually really big. So it could be he dashed into the sleep dart. Weird. This is High Diamond Season 14. Oh, I bet it's great. There has to be like 20% of the amount of people that were playing during Season 3 playing this game. Yeah. Even for Diamond, back when I was playing, because I got stuck in Diamond for a little bit in like Season 2, people weren't, like, they're actually somewhat cognizant of what's going on around them. Yeah. No, the Hanzo was not looking at Ana. That's hilarious. Is he gonna get out? Oh, get out. Like a Diva Bomb totally saved everyone. Yay! In already on Reddit. Stuff though. Nope. Already, both Reddits, guys. Elevator. So I don't know, guys. I don't know what I'm gonna do today. We have two choices. One is both, and the other one is playing HOTS. I guess we could. Wow. Good. Blackout has no vertical audio. No shit, I've talked about that before. Check. Good, it's on Reddit though. And the upside about having like a smaller game or a smaller Reddit is like stuff that's actually a problem in the game. Actually, like, I don't know how good the Fortnite audio is. They've tried to band-aid fix it a couple different times, but they still haven't added things like HRTF to the game, so But this right here, for instance, er, audio is horrible. I actually wonder if it's done on purpose to stop people from having headsets having an advantage. No, all the fucking games are like this. It's weird. Like when people just kind of, when someone hears about something, when something kind of little nugget of truth like floats to the surface, where all the big streamers when we were playing Fortnite last year are like, oh, this game doesn't have vertical audio, you know, which I've talked about basically since Fortnite came out, and other games have also don't have vertical audio. Everyone's like, oh wow, this game audio is so horrible because they actually notice it because people talked about it and because they now actually see the symptoms for it. Yeah, no shit. Basically, every game has bad audio. It's happened since basically EAX went under in like 2005 when Vista came out. Put them out. Okay. So, it's a lot of games. There's opportunities. There's bits and pieces floating around. Was it AMD True Audio, which apparently now is open source or something like that. Which no one's using for hardware acceleration. There's companies that have done 3D audio, HRTF implementations. I forgot the name of one of the companies. We looked them up though. Which no one uses. It's available, it's around, it's just no one does it because there's no precedent for it, because no one asked for it, and because when it disappeared and everyone's just like, consoles are the land where you make all the money, guys, back in like 2000s. Hashtag PC gaming is dead sort of shit, and everyone's trying to get consoles to bail on PC gaming and go to consoles and develop for consoles. The baseline for development for consoles is very, very low. People are willing to put up with a lot of just really crappy shit because they're on consoles and they don't know better because they generally haven't played, like they've never actually experienced, you know, like good PC gaming or good PC audio. Like even today, a lot of the people that are around today never really actually were, you know, like playing games in kind of like, what's a good word for it? A woke state, let's go with that. Like back in like 2000, because they're like fucking like 10, they're like 6 years old or something like that, you know? So they can't really, even though like the best game audio was EAX, which is around at the end of the 90s, early O's, and then it kind of disappeared. Vista killed it. They killed direct accelerated audio. And there's bits and pieces that are around today that can be put together to make an audio solution that works, and it's pretty nice, but game engines don't really support it. It's not really around. It's just not a thing like True Audio, for instance, which is hardware acceleration. And you can tell, like even in games today, like the amount of audio channels. Why would you need hardware acceleration? It's for the amount of audio channels that your game's putting out. And the way they save CPU cycles is they just make it so your game doesn't produce that many audio channels. And what's channels? Channels is the amount of sounds that can be produced at the same time. So the amount of sounds in the game world that can be produced at any given moment. EAX hardware back in the day could support up to 128 sounds. There's some games that say they can do it like HOTS. I don't believe that, because sometimes you'll do something like an emote sound and it just won't play. So I'm pretty sure HOTS even, like, they don't even abide by the little slider they have in their game. But there's no way to measure it either. There's no benchmarks for it, so it makes it really difficult to actually tell what's going on. Unfortunately, there's no audio benchmarks besides like spectrum analyzers for the sound audio quality, which isn't really the same thing as like mechanics for like HRTF or occlusion, something that actually gives you meaning to where you are in a 3D space, in a 3D world, interacting with objects in the 3D world, right? It's just for the quality of the audio, which is no different than just how bright your monitor is, your lumens. It doesn't just tell you about the FPS or frame delivery, like the frame time, or there's a lot of technical things like for GPU benchmarking. And for audio, for game audio, the bar is extremely low. It basically doesn't exist. Pretty much does not exist, so. Yeah. No vertical audio. Oh boy, you don't say. Don't fucking say. Alright, guys. So what should we play tonight? Okay, what should we play this morning? We could play HOTS. I could start a single player game of like Oxy. Witcher. Is there even anyone watching Oxygen not included? Probably not. Like 10. Oh my god. 300 people. Shit. And almost all of them are non-English. Oh. Witcher 3. Actually, a decent amount of people watching Witcher 3. Most obviously not actually English streamers.